Everybody, what's up? This is Axel Maaw from Become Top 1%, and today we have another special guest. His name is Shani, and he helps holistic facilitator with business and productivity. So today here it is. Welcome. How's it going, Shani?
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on, Axel.
It's a pleasure. Let's start with the first question, which is, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? How do you help people?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I help holistic facilitators with their business and productivity. So these are people who are a little bit more in the spiritual side of life. They want to meditate, they want to help people with yoga and things like that. And they're probably not the kind of people who have that self-discipline to build a business. Maybe they have some kind of fear about charging for their services, or they have some insecurities about money, and it's about going into their mindset and helping them overcome this so that they can offer their gifts to the world, because those people really need that kind of help right now.
This is absolutely true, because every person wants to get if we ask to the average guy, how many guys we're gonna ask them, hey, would you like to be successful? Right? Everybody, pretty much everybody will say, oh yes, I would love to be successful. But then there is something between success and actually, reaching that success, which most likely is discipline, productivity, and so on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think these people who I work with, they usually don't have the self-image of someone who wants to be successful, because they just want to heal, and they feel like maybe business is a dirty word, and they don't want to be in business, but they need to make money. So it's helping them overcome this fear and getting them to a place where they can actually start charging money and working in flow with themselves.
What do you believe is the number one problem when someone wants to become top 1% in something, or at least is just aiming to get somewhere, to be successful? Whatever, it doesn't really matter at the level that one person wants to be successful. Every person will have a different real definition for success, right? But when someone wants to become successful in there, what do you think is the number one, problem, obstacle there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like the number one problem is usually people's self-image. So if you don't believe deep down that you can be successful, then your actions will always align with that. So if you have this hatred of yourself, and you feel like you're unworthy of success and you don't deserve to make money, but then you watch a bunch of videos from people and then you try and fight against that belief, it's it might work for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but 1 or 2 years down the line, the real you will come through and it will drag you back down. So for me, it's really about changing people's self-image and helping them to get to the state where they believe in themselves and they feel like they're worthy of success.
Right. That's always the situation that someone, maybe it's really about beliefs, right? It's mindset eventually.
Exactly, because it's if you don't believe in yourself, then that's really gonna not help you at the start. And then obviously on the other side, we have the actual actions that people need to take. But if you're just performing the actions and you're not truly fully believing in yourself, your self-image isn't that of somebody who's successful, it's not going to work in the long term. And then on the other side, if you only have the self-belief and then you don't take the action, it's also not going to work. So it's about combining both of them and finding a way to flow, and a way that you are fully aligned in what you believe in yourself and the vision that you want to create, and also your actions match up to that as well.
So there is some sort of frequency distortion there when someone wishes to get somewhere, but then is not doing the correct action. There's something inside their brain that is not really aligned with what they should do or something.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times people don't really, they're not really aware of these frequencies. Maybe they consciously think they want success. They consciously think that they want money, but they have this belief since they were a child that it's difficult to make money. And then that belief is going to be so much stronger because they've held it for such a long time. And even though they're not aware of it, it's going to be the one that determines how they're going to act. So there might be some things they can do to start making money, and they know exactly what they need to do, but then that core belief is going to be the thing that's going to hold them back. And it will be the thing that will tell them, just watch Netflix today because it's easy. You don't deserve to make money. It's fine.
So I have actually a lot of things that I could ask you, but just you make me come into mind this thing. Last year, I was with one dude, we're discussing about, for example, going to the gym, right? Because now you said it's easy to just watch Netflix, and so don't do anything. Just like, oh, okay, I want to do this thing, I want to achieve this goal, but then eventually, it's hard, it's difficult, I'm lazy, whatever. Let's just put on Netflix, let's watch Netflix, right? But I was talking with this dude last year, and we're discussing about going to the gym. You need to go to the gym because blah, blah, blah. We all know the reasons, or at least technically speaking, we all know the reasons: energy, masculinity, being better, defend yourself and others, and so on and so forth. Have all the energy inside your body. Now, when we're discussing with him, of course, I was just saying, well, go to the gym. Most of the people don't go because it's just easy to not go. It's easy to just stay home, easy to watch Netflix and so on. And he told me, I think that I'm still trying to understand, because he told me, no, actually it's easier to go to the gym. And I was saying, what do you mean it's easier to go to the gym? If it was easier to go to the gym, everybody would be going. Instead, everybody is like, easier to not go to the gym. So still today, I'm trying to understand why he was saying that. If I tell you something like this, could you find a reason why he was sustaining that was actually, it's easier to go to the gym than not go to the gym?
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the reasons why most people are very unsuccessful, and it's because they lie to themselves and they're deluded. And I feel like this guy was in a position where, like, sometimes what he's saying there doesn't make sense, but he can lie to himself and say it's easier to go to the gym. And I don't know this person, but is he somebody who's going to the gym every single day? Or yes?
Yeah.
Okay, then in this case, if you're talking about somebody who's made it easier to go to the gym, then that kind of person, the way that they experience it is that maybe they get to a point where the thing that is difficult for some people becomes easy for them, because it's just, they don't even need to think about it. It's like a routine. So if that's the kind of person who's already going to the gym, because when you said it, I was imagining somebody who's never gone to the gym, but is creating like an excuse, like, oh, it's just easy, but I just choose not to go.
Okay, no, in his case, no, he just was saying like, it's easier to go to the gym than to not go, and he was going every day, clearly. Or at least like 5 days a week or something it is, but like 80% of the time of the week for sure.
Yeah, then for him, he's created a self-image of somebody who goes to the gym all the time. So for him to live up to that self-image, he would feel bad about not going to the gym, And it's like we create this identity of who we are, and then we live up to that identity every day. And this is something that we realize, that we have so much control over our life when we know that we can create this identity. If we decide tomorrow that we want to become a gym person, we just go to the gym. Like, I've decided this recently. This was one of the shifts that I had. It's funny you mentioned going to the gym, because before this call I was at the gym, and I'm somebody who hasn't really worked out much in my life before. But the last 2 months I've gone minimum 4 days a week, and it was because I decided that I'm a gym person. I'm going to the gym no matter what. And in the past, when I was going to the gym, I would go some days, and then if I missed like 3 days, I would probably miss like 2 weeks, because it's like, okay, I fell off the wagon now, I just pull back and stop. But now I've got to a point where the maximum that I missed in this past 2 months was 4 days. And then after the 4th day, I was like, okay, no, I'm going to go back and go in, because my identity is now somebody who is on the path to building his dream body. And now I live up to that every day.
What do you believe is what is happening probably on someone's brain that it's really not matching with our willingness, right? I want to have a strong body. I mean, who doesn't want to have a strong body? I want to make money and so on, but still then don't doing it, right? And every time I falling back into, now let's watch Netflix, let's stay home, I'm too busy, or maybe even lie, I'm too busy, I have no time. But what is really happening in the brain of someone? What your studies brought you to think and believe so far?
Yeah, in these cases, like when somebody says they want something and yet their actions show that they want something else, in all of these cases, there's a core set of beliefs that that person is unaware of. And we have like the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is that of everything that you're thinking and you're aware of. And the subconscious mind is what's beneath that. And usually there may be experiences that we had as children, maybe some beliefs that your parents like gave to you, or like people from school or your friends, and you're not even aware of these things. It's like someone might have said something to you 10 years ago and it's stuck in your mind. And now that thing that you don't even remember is actually the thing that's driving your actions, because the way the brain works is like we're kind of like a computer system. And I've read a very interesting book recently. I don't know if you know psycho-cybernetics.
Maybe I heard of it. I haven't read it anyway.
I recommend it because it looks at how similar the human brain is to a computer and the way we process information. And I feel like this is something that we kind of need to be more aware of, is that it works both ways. So it's like our brain can be our best enemy or the best friend or worst enemy. It's like it can really lie to us and delude us, or we can use it as a way, like that guy, we can create a thing where it makes, like logically it makes no sense what he said about it's difficult for me not to go to the gym, but to him that makes sense. Whereas for somebody else, it might be true for them to say it's difficult for me not to eat ice cream every day, and that's true for that person.
Right.
It's like the brain is the same for the two people, but the actions are completely different. Well, for one person, it's so difficult to not eat ice cream every day, and for one person, it's so difficult to not go to the gym every day.
Right.
And it's just what you choose to focus your attention on.
In this podcast, we had another gentleman, a very skilled top 1% gentleman, who was telling me discipline is shit. Maybe not using exactly this word, but generally speaking, discipline is shit. Habit is what is the real difference. If you build a very strong habit, then it's gonna be like super easy. But discipline is finite, according to his words. Discipline is finite. No, it's like this kind of bar that is like slowly decreasing until it got zero, and then boom, no more discipline. You don't do it anymore. Instead, if you build a habit, you can keep on forever doing that. I was just thinking about the ice cream thing that you told me. Oh, the person is like, I don't know, I have the habit of eating ice cream every day. Or for me, it will be so difficult to not eat the ice cream. But then eventually, so is it all about habit, or do you actually believe also, like this gentleman, that habit will be a real solution, to get to success?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that in terms of habits. And habits aren't easy to create. It's not something that's like you can create in 1 day or 5 days. It's like it takes time to build habits. Just like, and on the other side of it, it's like it's very easy to break a habit as well. It's like you can have a habit for like 2 weeks, and then as soon as you stop, you just stop completely, and then it's very easy to just go back to the way you were. Because the way I visualize it, it's like when we are creating new habits, it's kind of like when you pull an elastic band back, and the more you pull in against it, the further it's going. And sometimes you might let go and it just returns back to where it is.
Right.
But sometimes you pull so far that it breaks the band, and that's kind of what you want to do with the habit. Is you want to build so much habit, so much momentum that it just breaks the band, and now it's a new dimension. Whereas most people, they pull until they can't pull anymore, and then they just return back to where they are.
Okay, that's a very interesting concept. So you believe that a person should break the band, the elastic?
Yeah, like in order to create a new habit, you need to completely destroy the old habit. And that's it starts 1 day at a time. And it starts with having a system in place and having a way to measure your progress as well. But you can't just build a new habit by 1 day or just by doing it. It will take a bit of time and effort and a lot of pain. And you might fail once or twice or 3 times, but it's about getting back on there and building these new habits.
So it's also a replacement of habits, like a bad one versus a new one, a good one.
Yeah, it can be. Like, for me, for example, like I used to smoke cigarettes, and like I smoked a lot in my time, and it was very difficult to quit at a certain point. And the reason that I quit smoking cigarettes was because I just decided that I'm no longer a smoker. And at that point, it was a lot easier for me to maintain that identity of a non-smoker, but it still was difficult. It took me about a year or so to fully let it go. But there were so many times through that time where it was tempting to fall back. But now, so many years later, like I don't have any like temptation to go back. It's not even a question of like, oh, do I want to smoke a cigarette? That sounds insane. But like a couple of years ago, it would have been like, because I was so close to the old habit, that this new habit of not smoking was difficult to maintain. Whereas now it just becomes part of who you are.
What about people around you? If you are surrounded by smokers, would it be easy to then quit smoking, or you should surround anyway with people that absolutely do not smoke to achieve that anyway?
Yeah, the environment's important as well. And I think for most people, like if it's just the smoking, then it's a question of if you feel like that's the kind of people you want to hang around with and the sort of people you want in your environment. But it will be more difficult to quit a habit if everyone else around you is doing the bad habits as well, and you're the one quitting. It's generally like much easier to like build a business with other people who are building businesses versus a bunch of people who are just complaining about how poor they are. And it's like, that's not going to be the best environment for you to build a business as well.
I feel that I love this kind of topic, so we could be talking for a long, long time, but definitely it's good to just have a small, discussion about it, and then maybe later on we can come back here and discuss a little bit more and so on. But I wanted to ask you a couple of more things before to close today. Like, two things I'm going to ask you. The first is, if you had to give me a few steps to achieve this so desired top 1%, so desired success, personal success, what would be the, I don't know, 2, 3, 5 steps, whatever that you would recommend if someone wants to get there? And the second thing is, after you finish with this, like what would be your golden nugget, your personal, something that you personally do that you wish to recommend to everybody to do, something maybe that really help you a lot in your life? So these two things, first the steps and second your golden nugget.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So in terms of the steps, I feel like the most important thing is starting with the vision. It's understanding what it is that you're looking to create, the kind of impact you want to have, the goals that you have, like starting with the end in mind, like looking at, okay, what do I want to create? And then from there, taking a look at yourself and looking deeply in terms of what we spoke about at the start, like what are those blockages within me? Like, why do I feel like I'm not able, why do I feel like I'm not already at the result? Like, why is my current version not already rich and successful? Like, what are those thoughts that are holding me back? And then once you recognize these things that you need to let go of, or maybe new skills you need to develop, then it's about creating these new habits, as we said. So building a system, having a way to over time build skills, create new skills. You recognize, okay, there's these 20 bad habits that I need to get rid of in order to step into this, but there's also these 15 new skills that I need to learn, and I need to figure out how to be better with my time management. I need to do this, I need to do that. And then it's about small steps to get there. It's not about trying to do everything at once and just tomorrow I'm going to drop all of these 20 things and learn these 15 things tomorrow. It's about creating an action plan, more of a roadmap, maybe looking 1 year down the line and setting yourself a couple of milestones in between, like, okay, by this month I'm going to learn this, by this month I'm going to stop doing this, and being realistic with your own abilities and your skills. So I feel like that's kind of the way that it worked for me. For me, this was the way I transformed my life, because even 10 years ago, my habits were incredibly unhealthy, and now I completely transformed through a little bit more of a systematic approach in terms of that. And I think seeing our mind as like a computer system instead of just a thing that's controlling us, it's a good way to operate, because then you don't feel so triggered by the fact that you can't do something. You just see it as oh, it's a bug in my code that I can fix, and then you fix the code.
Beautiful, really. Thank you very much for this. So
the second question. Yeah.
Exactly. So the second thing will be this golden tip, golden.
Yeah. So I think you mentioned about the habits, and I feel like this is important because it's something that I also believe in, because I am I'm very easy to fall back into old patterns myself. When it comes to the gym, I've only started 2 months ago. When it comes to my business, I've been developing it for some years, but there was some time when I took off. And now what I have is a habit tracker that a lot of people have habit trackers for sure, but I actually have one that's above my bed, and it's on a big whiteboard. It doesn't need to be on a whiteboard, but with my clients, I recommend that they create it on a piece of paper and stick it up on their wall, and they have the days written there and the habits that they want to
Monday to Sunday, something like that.
Everything, no, the whole every day. So from today, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, all the way until the paper ends, basically. And then across the top, you have the habits that you want to build. So for me, I want to do daily breath work. I want to do daily meditation. I want to do visualization exercises. I want to work on my business. I want to do exercise. I want to eat right. There's a few other things as well that I add. And each day I take it off. Now, the important thing about this, and the reason why this is so powerful, is that it gets to a point in the month where you haven't done anything for 2 weeks. And usually when we get to that stage, this is where we quit the habits, because we're I'm going to start again. But then when you see the paper with a lot of empty spaces, what I say is don't rip up the paper, don't start again. Just take the medicine and just take the next day that you do it. Even if it's 3 weeks later, if it's 2 days later, if there's a lot of blank spaces, don't start again. Just recognize that you didn't do it for a week, 2 weeks, and say, okay, I'm going to start the habits again today.
Then I have to ask you this: do you also do some sort of punishment or reward in case you do it or you don't?
Not exactly. I think for me, the main thing that works is the reward is doing the thing itself. Because if I do meditation, visualization, breath work, and work on my business every day, that's going to accelerate it so much. And in terms of the punishment, I feel like the biggest thing about the punishment is my goal with this is to stop me from quitting the habits completely. So I don't want to create a situation where I stop doing it for a week and then I never go back again. So then I don't. That's why I don't keep the punishment in there. What I do instead is the system where I will just like take it, and even if I missed a week, I'll start the week after and just start the ticks there. And then the punishment is more of me looking at it and recognizing that I wasn't good to myself for 2 weeks. And then it's more of a self-reflection of like looking at that and questioning, okay, in those 2 weeks where I didn't meditate, what did I do instead? And why did I think it was not important?
Right.
That's kind of a self-reflection and journaling.
It's beautiful, really. Shani, amazing. I love it. Thank you very much for your golden suggestion as well. This was beautiful. Now, how, if a person wants to work with you and, contact you first, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so on all social media, on Instagram and YouTube as well, you can find me at Inspire with Shani. So
Inspire with Shani. Perfect.
Yes.
Even on Instagram, Inspiring with Shani?
Yeah, it's Inspire with Shani.
Yeah, we like it's written there
And,
in the video.
Yeah, it's a double meaning because inspire means to breathe in, but it's also to inspire. So it's like I help people with their breath work and also with inspiring other people.
Coming from this inspiration type of place. Yes, I love it. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much for your attendance today. Really, really grateful for this. And yeah, we'll talk next time. Maybe in a few, I don't know the time frame, but then we're gonna talk back and see how the things are going. I can't wait for see all the improvement, and I definitely want to try the goal that suggested that you gave about the calendar thing. That's very beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Shani, see you next time.
See ya.